There is something tranquil, yet unsettling about hidden beaches. Places off the beaten path, far removed from the bustling summer crowds, carry an alluring promise of solitude, but they also carry danger, concealed in their isolation. On a quiet summer night, August 14, 2004, Lindsay Cutchell and Jason Allen, two adventurous souls deeply in love, sought the perfect romantic getaway. Little did they know their choice to camp on a secluded beach in Jenner, California, would seal their tragic fate. Jenner is a picturesque coastal town, nestled where the Russian River kisses the Pacific Ocean. It's a haven of natural beauty that draws travelers from all walks of life, those craving peace and serenity. Jason, 26, and Lindsay, 22, both youth counselors from a small Christian summer camp in El Dorado County, had spent the season mentoring teenagers, instilling values of kindness and spirituality. After weeks of dedication, this weekend was meant as their personal reward, a celebration of their impending marriage. Planned for the following month, they set out in their trusty red Ford Tempo, carrying simple camping gear and hearts filled with excitement for their future. Their families described the couple as adventurous yet cautious, respectful, and deeply committed to their faith. Nothing in their lives hinted at any enemies or dangerous connections. Arriving at Fishhead Beach, Jason and Lindsay chose an idyllic spot hidden behind towering cliffs and dense vegetation. It was secluded, exactly what they desired. They laid down sleeping bags directly on the sand beneath the stars, lulled by the sound of crashing waves. Yet, beneath the moonlight serenity, something or someone lurking nearby shattered their idyllic world. Unbeknownst to them, this peaceful paradise would soon turn into a crime scene that baffled authorities for years. 2 days later, on August 16th, a helicopter flying overhead spotted something out of place. The pilot noted a campsite that hadn't moved, prompting a closer look by Sonoma County deputies. As authorities approached, an unsettling reality unfolded. Jason and Lindsay were found lying side by side, each shot once in the head. Their peaceful repose cruelly juxtaposed against the brutal violence of their death. The Jenner double murder stunned the quiet community. Such heinous acts were unheard of in this serene part of California. Initially, investigators struggled with motive. Nothing had been stolen. Lindsay still wore her engagement ring, and Jason's wallet remained untouched. Their car was parked undisturbed, belongings neatly stored. Investigators painstakingly scoured the beach for clues, but the crime scene yielded few answers. There were no signs of struggle, no shell casings. The precision and cleanliness of the crime hinted at an experienced or meticulous perpetrator. Theories swirled wildly, from robbery gone wrong to random thrill killing, to the dark possibility of someone known to the couple harboring a grudge. But each lead quickly dissipated, sending detectives back to square one. Meanwhile, families and friends were left reeling, grieving deeply, yet resolutely demanding justice. Months stretched into years, and the case cooled despite relentless efforts. The picturesque beach that once symbolized peace now haunted locals, whispers of the tragedy echoing with every crashing wave. Then, more than a decade later, a stunning break occurred. Sean Gallen, a local man known for erratic behavior and a criminal record, found himself embroiled in another violent incident in 2017, the shooting death of his brother. During questioning, he dropped a bombshell confession, admitting responsibility for the Jenner Beach murders. Gallen described the night in chilling detail. Fueled by personal demons, wandering the darkness, he stumbled upon the sleeping couple purely by chance. Motiveless, spontaneous, his crime had no reason beyond the impulsive cruelty of a disturbed mind. He admitted using a rifle from a distance, quietly approaching the sleeping couple and taking their lives before retreating unseen into the shadows. This revelation shocked even seasoned detectives. The lack of motive was perhaps more haunting than the crime itself. Lindsay and Jason's lives were extinguished simply because they were there, at the wrong place at the wrong time. victims of random violence in a place they sought peace. For families and friends, Gallen's confession brought some closure, but also fresh pain. The senselessness compounded their grief to promising lives lost to an act devoid of reason. In 2019, Gallen pleaded guilty, receiving 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Yet, lingering questions remain. Had he acted alone? Could anything have prevented this tragedy? Authorities combed through Gallen's troubled history, uncovering past red flags overlooked in a small community reluctant to acknowledge its darker corners. In the aftermath, the Jenner Beach murders stand as a stark reminder of life's unpredictability, the thin line between peaceful solitude and unspeakable horror. For Jason and Lindsay, their story compels us not only to remember the chilling randomness of their fate, but also to cherish moments of peace, knowing just how fragile they truly are. And so Jenner Beach, beautiful yet forever tainted, continues to whisper its haunting message. Beneath beauty and tranquility, secrets lie waiting, hidden in plain sight, ready to surface at the most unexpected moments. On warm summer nights, lakeside parks usually echo with laughter, friendship, and carefree joy. But on July 13, 1982, at Lake Waco in Texas, the tranquil sounds of crickets and gentle waves were overtaken by an unimaginable horror nightmare that shattered a community and reverberates through generations. 3 teenagers, Jill Montgomery, 17, Raylene Rice, 17, and Kenneth Franks, 18, set out to enjoy an evening by the water. Friends described the trio as fun-loving, outgoing, and inseparable. Their decision to spend a quiet evening near Spiegelville Park, a popular spot among local youths, seemed routine, almost mundane. But beneath the deceptive calm of the summer evening, a predator lurked. When the teens didn't return home that night, panic spread among their families. The serene lake became an ominous backdrop as dawn broke, launching a desperate search. Hours later, the worst fears were realized. Authorities discovered their bodies in a secluded area near the water. The brutal nature of the crime stunned even seasoned investigators. All 3 teenagers had been stabbed repeatedly, their hands bound behind their backs, suggesting they were helpless as their lives were viciously taken. Shockwaves reverberated throughout Waco. Families mourned, students grieved, and fear gripped the town as residents grappled with the terrifying realization. The killer walked among them, anonymous and free. Detectives faced a complex puzzle with no obvious leads. Interviews and investigations initially pointed nowhere. The crime scene yielded few clues. The community demanded answers, but investigators struggled to piece together what led to such brutality. Then, whispers began. Local rumors suggested involvement from a small group known for troublemaking, substance abuse, and violent tendencies. Clifford Oliver, Anthony Melendez, and David Wayne Spence became the focus of scrutiny, accused by informants who claimed the group had spoken cryptically about their role in a horrific crime. David Spence, already in custody for unrelated charges, was thrust into the spotlight as investigators probed his alibi and connections. A meticulous examination revealed disturbing clues. Spence was reportedly fascinated with violence and had a volatile temper. Gradually, a narrative unfolded. Spence, alongside accomplices, may have targeted the teens mistakenly, believing Kenneth Franks to be another young man with whom he harbored animosity. Despite vehemently denying involvement, the pressure mounted. Testimonies, albeit controversial and conflicting, shaped a compelling case. The community, desperate for closure, watched intently as Spence and Melendez were convicted. Spence was sentenced to death, Melendez to life imprisonment. Clifford Oliver, after cooperating with prosecutors, received a lighter sentence, fueling further debate. Yet, this was far from closure. For decades, questions lingered. Critics challenged the credibility of witnesses, the validity of forensic evidence, and investigative methods. The specter of wrongful conviction hovered, dividing public opinion and stirring debates on justice. and truth. In 1997, David Spence was executed, maintaining his innocence until his last breath. Anthony Melendez continues to serve a life sentence, asserting wrongful conviction. Families of victims remain torn. Some found solace. Others grappled endlessly with uncertainty. Today, the Lake Waco martyrs remain embedded deeply in Texas's collective memory. The case epitomizes the profound complexities of justice, truth, and tragedy. Each year, the peaceful waves of Lake Waco gently lap at the shore, whispering an everlasting reminder of a summer night when innocence was lost and a community forever changed. The Colonial Parkway is famed for its scenic beauty, a serene drive winding through historic Virginia. Couples frequent this picturesque route, enjoying the romance of secluded overlooks and quiet moments under starlit skies. But between 1986 and 1989, beneath its peaceful facade, the parkway concealed a darkness, a terrifying mystery that shattered perceptions of safety, forever changing this tranquil landscape. The nightmare began on October 12, 1986. Kathy Thomas, 27, a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, and Rebecca Dowski, 21, a senior at William and Mary College, were last seen on a casual night out together. Days later, their car was discovered pushed off an embankment near the parkway, partially submerged in the York River. Both women were found inside, their throats slashed with brutal precision. The violent nature of the attack suggested both intimacy and rage. No sexual assault occurred, and personal belongings remained untouched, raising troubling questions. Why kill with such ferocity, yet take nothing? Authorities scrambled for clues. With no obvious suspects or motives, the investigation grew cold, leaving families and friends devastated. Yet, this would only mark the beginning of a chilling saga. Less than a year later, in September 1987, another horrific discovery. David Knobling, 20, and Robin Edwards, 14, vanished after an evening near Ragged Island Wildlife Refuge. Their bodies, found days later along the James River, bore gunshot wounds execution style. Knobling's truck, abandoned nearby, held clothing and belongings intact. Again, no robbery, no sexual assault, just senseless, clinical violence. By now, panic gripped the community. Were these isolated tragedies, or something far worse? Fear intensified when, in April 1988, Cassandra Sandy Haley, 18, and Richard Keith Call, 20, disappeared after a party. Keith's red Toyota Celica was discovered abandoned along the parkway, keys still in the ignition, wallets and purses untouched. Despite extensive searches, their bodies were never found. Families endured the agony of uncertainty, haunted by questions without answers. A final wave of horror crashed in September 1989. Anna Maria Phelps, 18, and Daniel Lauer, 21, went missing during a road trip. Weeks later, hunters stumbled upon their remains in a secluded wooded area near Interstate 64. Both had been stabbed to death. Their car, found previously, again showed no signs of struggle or theft. The hallmark remained consistent violence without robbery, intimacy in the kills, yet no clear motive. Authorities never officially linked the cases, not publicly at least, but FBI agents began investigating them as a possible serial killing. The families believed it, the press believed it, and so did a retired FBI profiler named Steve Spingola. Spingola examined the cases years later and found something even more disturbing. These weren't just random acts of violence. They appeared methodical. Each crime occurred on or near holidays. Each couple had parked in an area known for seclusion. Each scene lacked obvious forensic evidence, as if cleaned, and in most cases, nothing was stolen. This gave rise to a chilling theory. What if the killer had been posing as law enforcement? Each couple may have willingly rolled down their windows or exited the vehicle. Kathy and Rebecca, for instance, were found inside their car with the windows down. Strange behavior for a secluded area. Richard and Cassandra's car was found undisturbed, as though they'd walked away willingly. Some even speculated the killer had law enforcement or military training. The killings were efficient, quick, clean. Each murder site suggested the killer knew the terrain, that he could operate unnoticed, disappear without a trace. But the deeper authorities looked, the darker the theories became. Could it have been someone working within law enforcement? A ranger, a local, a military man with access and discipline? The FBI began looking inward, but no suspects ever emerged publicly. No arrests, no charges, no names confirmed. And then, silence. The case sat cold for decades. Families grieved, waited, hoped. Private investigators came and went. You detectives reviewed the files, but leads dried up. Until 2010, new forensic technology allowed the FBI to reprocess some of the evidence, including DNA. A break was expected. Families braced for answers, but the results never made headlines. Whatever was found has never been publicly disclosed. It's unclear whether the DNA tied the cases together or ruled them out. Even more chilling, some former agents now believe the murders may not have been the work of a single killer after all. While the similarities are undeniable, there are subtle differences in method: shootings, stabbings, throat slashing. Could it be a copycat, or multiple predators exploiting the parkway's isolation? And if that's true, how many are still out there? As of today, the Colonial Parkway murders remain unsolved. No one has been charged in connection to any of the killings. The FBI still lists them as open. And each year, the families gather to honor their loved ones and to remind the world that this case is not forgotten. In a place built to connect history with nature, a killer or killers left their mark. And the road that once symbolized beauty and peace became a silent memorial to those who vanished without justice. One question continues to echo down the parkway. How could 8 lives be taken so violently, and yet no one sees a thing?